Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man. I am Bobby Cool Daddy Slick Breeze. And I have with me Eric GBO Hangover McCabe.
I'm still getting over it.
Still getting over that. And Robert, boy, he emceed and talked a lot. McCall.
Hey man.
So just a normal week.
My voice.
Dang it.
My voice isn't tired at all.
I mean, the guy did the commentary on Disc Golf, the Smashbox.
Correct.
Good job.
Thank you.
And then emceed at a lot of our events.
Yes.
Luck of the Draw.
Mm-hmm.
The players meeting, what else did you
That wasn't the players meeting.
Yeah, opening ceremony.
I'm sorry,
Bobby.
opening ceremony, the
Golly,
pro
dude.
panel,
Meet the owners.
meet the owners, and then finally
Caddy games.
and
Awards.
awards. Yeah,
Why didn't you do it at poker?
yeah, they needed you at poker.
We got a heads up situation.
There you
here
go.
at the
Yeah, we
table.
could have used that.
That
would have been
Could have brought some real excitement.
We should have
to
just set
the
up a
event.
table and done that. Just me and you.
Yeah, like very, very amateur poker players.
and like we just whisper back to each other.
I
so
really love the check raise play here.
the GBO hangover is real. There's just something I posted on Facebook because it was Monday, I think, or something, a Sunday afternoon or evening. Anyway, it was just, it felt so calm and quiet.
Yeah.
Nothing, nobody had any questions to be answered. Nothing needed to be posted for me. I'm sure for you guys, nobody wanted something to be done. And it was just,
That's not true.
well, you know what I'm saying.
Not to the extent of last week.
Right.
Yeah,
There wasn't questions coming in.
Right.
Like,
Chris coming at you.
Not like
Or you need
before,
to figure out, where do I need to be? What's happening next?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? Is everybody being taken care of? So
and I'll say we kind of, I wouldn't say dodged the bullet, but we kind of dodged the bullet as far as weather goes this year.
Yeah.
Because leading up to the event, it was pretty nice. There's a couple really nice days in there, but we had the rain on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. And then rain on Wednesday.
And then rain on Wednesday as well. And then leading right after the GBO, it got windy.
Super windy.
Like
regular GBO
the next
windy.
day. Like Sunday, it was windy. Monday, it was windy. Tuesday, it was windy.
yeah.
And today, there's like a thunderstorm warnings and,
I know,
and
it
watches
stinks.
all over town. So
I want to go play bag tags
man.
tonight. Hopefully,
I
it'll be
don't
out
think it's going to be in by then. I think it's supposed to be later tonight.
Oh, okay. Well, but I mean, it's
think.
like dark skies earlier.
Yeah,
So.
Your dark
it's just
skies.
one of those things that it's we're in a moderate risk zone. So you never really know when it's going to pop up and hit you.
Yeah.
Like last night after we got home from the movie, I turned on TV and there was like tornado warnings just north of us, and it was,
I didn't know
crazy.
that.
Yeah. I feel like it's fair to say we're always in the moderate risk zone.
Yeah,
like
we are.
even when it's just bright and sunny outside. Oh yeah, moderate risk.
Yeah.
It might just get really crappy outside.
You
really
never
fast.
know.
So yeah, GBO was an amazing week. 1,602 players was the final count on day one.
And then at day 3,
Day 3 it was about 1,500.
Survival of the fittest.
Yeah, I
at that
think
point.
that some people actually dropped out for, whatever reasons they had. But as far as a grade, a score, I mean, I think that was like an A minus.
Yeah, there's a couple of hitches that we could improve upon because that's something that we're always looking to do with the GBO. We always want to make it better. But I think a lot of things went really well. It was great.
I think that's one thing that I hope people get. The perception, of course, is that we pump up the GBO. We think it's amazing. Of course, we do. We think it's amazing. But we don't think it's perfect. It's by far perfect.
No, it's far from perfect.
Yeah, what did I say?
You said by far perfect.
It's by far from.
It is
far from,
by far
It is the furthest
perfect.
away from perfect.
Yeah.
No. There's bad things that happen, behind the scenes, but thankfully we're able to rally together and figure it out. So anyway, it seemed my sentiment from talking to people. And by the way, if you were at the GBO and you're listening, you came up and said hello, shake my hand. Thank you so much. I'm sure Eric and
Yeah,
Robert
definitely.
have the same sentiment. It's so amazing to hear from people that are listeners or viewers or just actually have our product in their bags. It's really cool to hear from you guys and shake your hands and meet you. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
But overall, all I heard was great things. So another great GBO in the books. What would you say, Robert? I know I put you on the spot. Oh,
I was just going to say one of the bad things that happened behind the scenes was that Bobby and I got in a fist fight earlier this week.
that's true.
That's why we don't have video.
right. There's no video because
Dang.
We don't want to reveal who won.
all the black eyes that
Yeah, that's
Robert
right.
has.
Wait, what?
He has 4 black eyes. I don't know how that happened, but somehow he has 4
Don't do the
black
math,
eyes. Yeah.
but it's fine.
No,
I did get those several times this week.
Yeah.
People would walk up to me and be like, "Hey, where's Bobby?" like we just
Right. Okay.
we are inseparable.
Right.
It's pretty
So-
funny. Hey, wait. I mean, at least once a day. Hey, where's Bobby? What? He's doing stuff. I'm doing other stuff. It was funny. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, and what would say would be your standout GBO moment?
Oh, man.
I know I kind of put you on the spot.
Yeah, I think probably the most excited I was during the week. I love getting to do the junior clinic on Sunday. That was awesome. Great to see juniors turn out. But while we were doing the live coverage, man, both the MPO and FPO lead cards were battling. And I mean, I don't know. I get excited to watch disc golf, but this time I was on the edge of my seat just getting to watch. It was just really cool to see, throws traded back and forth and people standing up under pressure and making big shots. And it was just super cool. Paige going for the peninsula at Peter Pan, hold 12, just clipping one of the top of the cypress knees and settling in bounds. And that's the turning point for her, It was that I loved getting to watch that and to get to splice the women's coverage in with the live.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
Yeah, Smashbox did a really good job covering the live, and then on round 2 and 3, we're able to splice in, edit in, whatever you want to call it, the live coverage from the FPO.
Yeah.
From a media standpoint, I would say my GBO moments were the crowds. I mean, at the bonfire, flying that drone, just the amazing view of all the people. And then, of course, at the block party, I think we talked yesterday, at any given time from beginning to end, there was at least 2,000 people coming through that, 3 blocks, 4 blocks?
3 blocks, I believe.
3 blocks downtown. 2. And so from a visual standpoint, that's amazing. Of course, you got a really sweet shot of the ring of fire and the drone flying up. And then going out on the, kind of going back during the competition out at Emporia Country Club, just those crowd, the huge gallery of people.
Day one was impressive.
Day one was, had a lot of people
a Thursday.
There.
Yeah.
But Saturday had so many, and so I was just filming all kinds of different angles just to have for promos and stuff like that. I think one of the funnest, coolest promos or clips I got was people. I would be lined up with people, and as someone would throw, you could see, kind of like in tennis where you see everybody's head move. Well, you could see everybody's head move. And then the reaction, like, whoa, and then some people clap. So those are some really cool clips. What about you, Eric?
Man, there was so much. It was a fun week. Obviously, my first round was amazing, and it was solid. Great to play with those guys and dominate those guys.
Who was it? Chris Clemens?
Clemens, Sexton, and Gerb.
Nice.
And then it was even more awesome to get dominated by pretty much the same guys the next 2 rounds.
It's pretty awesome.
But no, I think my GBO caught up to me at that point. Yeah. But a lot of things, actually. Playing with those guys, I got to play with Sexton first round. He had a lot of compliments on the course. I think playing the country club all 3 rounds was a big shining moment for me personally, because of how much energy and time I've put in to the country club and making it a difficult course that can flow well. And we nailed it because we didn't have any backups.
Yeah.
I heard nothing but compliments from the players. People online were kind of being people online, but Paul Macbeth actually told me personally that it is probably the best disc golf course on a ball golf course that we play on tour, which is a huge compliment. And Sexton said that hole 16 is the best island hole in disc golf.
Yeah.
So that's 2 pretty healthy compliments. And the island hole, I stuck it twice.
Nice.
Yeah. What'd you throw? The Explorer?
Explorer, the same one, all 3 rounds. The second round, I was playing bad. And I looked at Ian and said, I'm going to try to put this in for you. Just because why not at that point? Right. I mean, it's a 2 or a 4. What's 2 extra strokes on that? And it was windy that day, and it just kind of lifted, and I was expecting a little bit of a slam. I put it on a great line, but then it just came in a little early and popped off the side. It hit on the top and just skipped on the down slope.
Island,
and it just skipped right off. But the other 2 times, I was probably 3 feet and 8 feet away. So that was
pretty salty little throws
pretty
there.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I was talking to Jomez, and a lot of people, and I get people, obviously, hopefully you know me, you can have your opinion, that's fine. But, some people were screaming that, the course is boring and stuff like that. But then you hear from the players that are like, no, you got to play it to realize it's not a boring course. Yes, it's a certain style of disc golf. You're not throwing through a bunch of trees and stuff. So it's a certain style of disc golf, but it's by far, wait, how do I say it? It's far from.
It's
far from boring.
It's absolutely.
It's by far boring.
Right. So it's not boring. And then I was talking to Joe Mez and said, hey, how are the viewer numbers? And he said, oh, we're going to break records on the views. So obviously it's not that boring, quotes, whatever, air quotes.
And I think it's just because people, they don't get it.
Yeah, you haven't been there.
You haven't been there. I encourage you to come try and play it and then tell me it's boring with all the rope up, all the people out there. You have to throw great lines. And I think the changes that we made this year were phenomenal.
Agreed.
That's really something I heard from a couple players, not even solicited, just saying that the flow was much better than it's been.
The flow is better. Even the couple holes that we changed, like hole 2, which used to be hole whatever, we moved it back a little bit, and it's like a true par 4 now.
And that hole 1 was perfect hole 1 gallery performance.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, you just get to see people unleash on the first tee shot.
Right.
It's awesome.
And so to see community people that obviously aren't traveling for disc golf, you can just tell they're from Emporia to watch and ooh and ah. And I was walking off the island hole to go try to capture more footage of the crowd, and I saw some. And I hate this. I mean, they look like probably
2 bikers in the woods,
right? No, no, they look like country club members.
Oh, okay.
And they were talking because they were talking birdie and stuff like that. So they were talking the jargon, but I was just in my mind imagining that these older gentlemen that are probably playing golf for most of their life are enjoying disc golf action. And I thought that was just really cool. And they're discussing it. Oh, if that guy, I think if he gets a birdie, he'll be up by 1 or something. They were talking about it. And I thought that was really cool.
My aunt and uncle from Kansas City came down and watched all 3 rounds.
Oh, nice.
Me, so that was really cool.
They watched you or just?
They watched me all 3 rounds.
Nice.
Yeah. I think the changes were perfect. Like just makes it a more fair course and a very difficult course. Like it benefits the long thrower, yes, but they have to control that long distance, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's like we talked about on the show before. It's well documented. I am not a long thrower, and I've scored plenty well out at GBO. Or not a GBO.
Every hole there is birdie
country club. Yeah, like I'm not throwing much over 400. Maybe 420, 430 if I really get a hold of it, but. Basically every hole but 18, I feel like, I've got a pretty decent chance to birdie this. 18, I'd have to put together 2 pretty perfect shots for myself.
2 of my 3 rounds.
Yeah, and you can get it.
Yeah.
So I think it's a really fair course. It's just a difficult course.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to watch some really nice disc golf action, make sure you check out Central Coast. They covered the feature card on day 1, and then the chase card on day 2 and 3 of the top MPO.
Yep.
And then they covered the top cards for FPO on all 3 days. Joma's production covered the top MPO cards for all 3 days. So, I know you guys love watching tournament action, so that would be one to watch. And there are some few dramatic moments in that coverage. So you definitely need to go out and watch that. Also, if you want to see some of the behind the scenes type stuff or some of the other activities other than play.
If you want to see a goose hiss at us.
If you want to see, check out the vlog, the GBO vlogs for 2018 out on Dynamic Discs YouTube channel. Cool.
What a great week.
Yeah.
Very nice week.
Super fun week. Glad that we can relax just a bit.
It's such a weird thing to now. It's like you got to go, okay, let me get into that other gear that's other stuff.
Right, yeah. Regular office work again,
So... all right. One more thing before we go move on to the questions. We have some Disc Golf Answerman t-shirts, and they've been restocked. So guys, go out there, pick yourself up a DeGam t-shirt.
I saw a lot of people wearing them.
Yeah. I thought that was really cool. So, all right. So I listened to a couple of questions, and there are a couple of GBO specific. So we're going to listen to those first. Let's see. This first one is from Paul. Let me check my audios. Here we go.
Hey guys, this is Paul from Memphis. First off, congrats on another great GBO. I had an amazing time watching the coverage of all the pro cards. I know you guys must be just stoked with the overall turnout this year, and you're probably taking a big deep breath right now. So congrats on all that. So I know that these days to compete at the top level as a pro disc golfer, you almost have to have both a forehand and a backhand shot. I know the 3 of you guys are all right-hand, backhand dominant. And generally, I see most players kind of develop their backhand first and then add at least a serviceable forehand for the natural left to right shot. So my question is, for a player that's right-hand, backhand dominant or already throws that way, would it be better to add a right-hand flick or a lefty backhand?
Ooh.
And I know it's easier for people generally to learn the same hand flick rather than learning to backhand with the opposite hand. But if you kind of disregard the extra time it would take to learn the left-hand backhand, would your game be better? Would it be more versatile? So if you guys could say, wake up tomorrow with either an amazing right-hand flick or an amazing lefty backhand in addition to your right-hand backhand skills, which you already have, which one of those would you rather have? And do you see a future where a lot of the top pros would be able to throw both with their right and left hand? Anyway, thanks for your time and your answers, guys, and have a great show.
That's a good question.
Super good question.
I threw 2 forehands, and they were both amazing.
Dude, I've told people that several times. Like we'd be out watching you play or whatever, or seeing it on video, and somebody's like, "Oh, Eric's lining up a forehand. He must be in trouble." I'm like, I guarantee you, this is going to be a good forehand.
It was on hole 5.
Okay,
old 3.
Yeah.
And
you were up on the left side of the fairway.
OB early.
Oh, gotcha.
And I got up for my par.
It's just
it was awesome.
Just
you
like
have to watch Central Coast to see it second round because they talk about it as well.
Just carry 300-ish uphill.
Yeah, no worries.
Tight green.
No worries.
That's pretty
And then
sick.
the other one was just a little putter forehand shot to the basket. But for me personally, if I could wake up tomorrow, first off, awesome.
Thank you for the opportunity.
And second, have either a dominant forehand or basically the same skill level of forehand or backhand lefty. I would go lefty.
I'd take lefty.
I would go lefty all day, mainly because I'm not thinking of righties. Oh yeah, would rather just do my forehands, whatever. But just wear and tear on your body.
Yep.
Like I'm constantly throwing this way. In the forehand, you're kind of throwing a different motion, but it's the same arm. And let's face it, forehands, your arm's really not supposed to move that way at that speed. That it could really be harmful for you. So for me, I'd love to be able to just mash a lefty shot. You think about it, you would only have to carry stable discs.
Yes, I love that thought.
There's something about a big turnover shot that flexes and rides. You can't do that with a lefty hyzer. But yeah,
but then you'd have the option.
Minimize your bags.
Yeah, then you'd have the option both ways to be able to throw that. So where maybe a righty backhand like hyzer wouldn't really get there, you could just throw that big lefty turnover. Yeah, that kind of like pans out and finishes even. You know what I would do?
I would probably just carry one of those cool sniper bags that we got.
Yeah, and just
they got in the player pack.
Defender.
I want to get one of those.
That's all.
Criminal.
That's it.
EMAC. Well, EMAC. Yeah, a bunch of EMACs.
Of course.
Mercy.
Do we have any of those left?
Done.
Probably.
I would assume so.
I want to get one.
Maybe for you, not for everybody.
They're pretty cool.
But probably for you, though.
I mean, I would assume.
Exceptions made for you.
Right.
I think I'd be left-handed, too, just because I feel like, and now, granted, my forehand is developing. It's getting better for sure, but...
Me too. I'm 100% this weekend.
That's pretty good. But I can do a lot more things with a disc backhand than I can forehand, right? I'm not great at forehand hyzer flips. I'm not great at just dead straight that stay straight all the way. I am pretty great. Well, maybe not great, but I can do those shots right hand, backhand. So left hand, backhand, if I could get that equal skill, yeah, I'd take that all day.
That would be so awesome just to bust it out.
Yeah.
Bust it. Our next one is from Rick. What up, boy, Rick?
Hey, what up, Rick?
Hey, DeGam fam. Rick from Orangevale. And, it really does have to be fam these days because you just never know who's going to be sitting at the big table. And that's really awesome because we love to get Jeremy Rusko or other team members' perspectives. And then, of course, we always have Anthony and Danny sitting at the kids' table ready to chime in. So you get that pause button ready, Mr. Slick and Breezy, as I'm going to try to peel off 4 quick questions today.
Here we go. Number 1.
So I watched all the GBO preview vids on the various courses. And come on, be honest. You guys didn't make all those birdies, right? I mean, if you had, you probably would have won the glass trophies. So how many takes did you really have to take? And pause.
And pause. Thank you, Rick. Attaboy, Rick. So, 2 things that differentiate the course previews and tournament. It's not a tournament, so there is tournament pressure if you ever played tournaments. So, and part number 2 is, of course, we edit some of those.
Right. I like the idea of getting a lot of birdies on film so that you could have like a realistic look at how you could birdie the hole, right? Instead of just, I'm not having a great day, so I took par here. You want to show them what the birdie plays are so that, they can see, I just need to get to this spot, and then I get to this spot, and then take my birdie.
But there really wasn't a whole lot of, well, let's do this again kind of things.
Yeah, it's not like every hole we had to have 5 or 6 takes. It was just every now and then it would be like, hey, let me try that again.
Yeah, like the country club, I remember we needed to get that done quick. So Newhouse and I, that was pretty much our round.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't really have any, well, let me do that again type shots.
It's just whoever had the better tee shot.
That's true. That's it.
We just went and did it.
Yeah.
So
Peter Pan was kind of like that too. That was Oakley and McCabe, and I was out there as well, just playing casually, having a good time. And yeah, I mean, it was just like, all right, this is McCabe's hole, and he throws his drive, and all right, now we can mess around and throw some practice shots.
Yeah.
All right, next one.
We're back. Number 2. I have seen commercials for a DJ mock shift basket recently, and it's kind of like a basket that could be full size or one that scales down to like something like your Marksman. Any possibility Dede will be making attachments for the Marksman to a full size? Pause.
I would probably say no, because we already have the recruit.
Right.
I think at this point, I don't see it happening. Who knows what's going through Jeremy's head right now, what he wants to do on things, but right now, I would venture to believe that that's not a product that we need to come out with. So,
and just a kind of a warning to everybody, because I know that we like to talk about things that we are coming out with. You got to understand that it kind of reminds me of Mike Rowe. That's the way I heard it, or that's what I heard, or something like that. He has a podcast. In other words, we have not heard of anything. That doesn't mean we're not working on it. And so I haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
Next.
And third on the box, oops, wrong show. Anyway.
You're done.
Yeah, and you're out of here.
Cut him off.
Well played.
Right. Picked up an SE Captain. Man, that is the disc I have been waiting for. Just wondering where the SE plastic slots in terms of durability and stability when compared to your other plastics. Pause.
I gotcha.
You got this.
SE generally comes in slightly less overstable than the Lucid plastic, but I mean, we're talking a tick, like a noticeable difference, but a very small noticeable difference.
So not quite a flea, but a tick.
Yeah. It's slightly more than a flea, less than a fly.
Okay,
it's in the tick range. The first one I noticed it on was the Opto Explorer, and then we did the SE Explorer, and the SE's out of the box just held straight just a little bit longer. And durability wise, I mean, mine have been great since day one. So that's what
I only throw Opto and Lucid, so I can't answer that question.
You've never even touched any other plastic.
Never.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
And finally, this might be a better question for one of Danny's instructional videos, but I've been trying to learn the 360 just for fun. And man, that is the hardest thing I've ever tried to do. I would just figure it was kind of like a 3, 6, 9 o'clock plant with your feet and then spin, and the extra momentum would give you the extra D. But my hips and shoulders are completely rotated by the time I get to the hit, and man, it is hard. So any help you can give there would be great. Out.
I mean,
not worth it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it.
How many?
It's just for funsies, like
right.
Okay.
How many of the pros this weekend did we see do a 360? I saw one guy do a 360.
Where?
Really?
I thought they said that, I can't remember his name, but he did it on hole 1.
I could see that, yeah. I heard of somebody throwing a 360.
I can't remember his name either.
Nah, man.
But you don't see Will, you don't see Drew, you don't see
the
Macbeth,
super long
Ricky.
throwers.
They're not doing anything.
Simon does it.
Unless they're in a distance
not for-
competition.
Well, Simon does it when he's showing off something.
Yeah, right. That's
You know
right.
what I mean? When he's just trying, at that point, the score or whatever, he's so far ahead or so far behind, it doesn't matter. And then he'll do it every now and then just to mash on a disc. But I've never been a fan of it. I don't necessarily think it's something you need to necessarily learn.
But I'll hand that off to, I'll see if Danny wants to cover the topic of 360, see what his thoughts are.
I'll say one quick thing. If you are,
He said no. So
if you are incredible,
So you're the same as us, Danny? The 360 is not something that you should even worry about, right?
I wasn't even listening. I'm sure my name.
Oh,
okay.
No, he wasn't even listening. So we'll talk about it.
I'll say this really quickly about.
You heard that, didn't you?
Yeah, I'll say this quickly about 360s. If you're getting to the point where your hips and shoulders are already open, the ideal kind of angle to finish your 360s at is like your left foot, your back foot will be slightly back of where it would be on a normal throw. So you're going to be angled a little bit more out to the left with your feet and hips and everything than you would a normal throw, and that'll allow you to stretch out just a bit more. If you're already, like if it's at a clock, if you're already at 12 o'clock or even 11 o'clock by the time your feet land, then you're already too open into the throw.
Already.
Thank you.
All right, so next one comes from Anonymous, and this one I might play. Well, I'll just say the disclaimer because this one's going to need a disclaimer. But I thought it'd be interesting for us to talk about this because this topic hasn't come up in quite a while. So I want to make sure that you guys understand that this podcast, the opinions expressed on this podcast are just that. They are the opinions of myself, Eric McCabe, and Robert McCall. They do not necessarily reflect that opinions of the staff, the owners, or anybody at Dynamic Discs, Westside Discs, or Latitude 64.
Nailed it. Minus the voice.
Right.
Yeah, it didn't sound nearly as exciting.
I know. So anyway, he says, hello all. I'm in a tough situation, so I'm hoping that you would simply keep it real. My local players to my area smoke marijuana during tag rounds and even during competitive tournament play, both sanctioned and unsanctioned events. I'm an officer in the military, so I could lose my clearances if I would test positive on a random drug test. Maybe I'm paranoid, but frankly, I don't even want to smell it. How would you advise me to handle it? Enjoy competing, but I don't want to be that guy. So we're not going to argue. This is not a question about arguing whether
legality of
marijuana. Is it a drug? Is it not a drug? Is it worse than alcohol? Is it not worse than alcohol? The medicinal benefits and all that. That's not what this is about because I don't want to go down that road.
Right.
What would you do though? I mean, you can always put that in any situation. What would you do if you want to play competition, but everybody you're playing with is doing something that you don't want them to do or could harm you or affect you?
Sanction event, then I would report it to the TD. I mean, I also don't want to be that guy, but rules are rules.
You remember what happened to Jordan, right? Jordan Castro?
Oh yeah, he got slaughtered online.
On Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, and for in my opinion, doing the right thing.
Right.
That's the difficulty of it. Is there's a bunch of people who are going to jump down your throat if you turn somebody in for smoking during a sanction round or drinking during a sanction round. But at the end of the day, the rules are rules. It's like if I watched you blatantly foot fault and I didn't call it, I am breaking the rules by not reporting it, just like I would be if you were drinking or smoking out on the course.
Right.
It shouldn't be my responsibility to help you adhere to the rules, but if you're going to break them, it is my responsibility as a competitor to all of the other competitors in the field to report that.
So if it's a casual round and people are doing something that you don't want them to do, and I understand the whole thing, he's right. In the military, if you test positive for something like that, you could really lose a lot of stuff, privileges and things like that. You're just going to have to walk away.
Yeah, if it's a casual round for me, and I've had people ask before, hey, do you mind if I smoke? And I'll say I prefer that you didn't, but if you're going to, I'll go over here. Like I'll get out of the way because that's not something that I'm interested in. But if they don't ask and they're just not the type of, courteous person who is going to ask about that, then maybe you need to reconsider playing those minis. Right. I mean, if it's going to risk your job,
livelihood.
Yeah. If that was something for me, I just wouldn't put myself in the position, even if I wanted to play, I'm not going to risk that.
All right. Next question comes from, they didn't put a name, so that's their name.
Okay. I was waiting for you to say a name.
Artist formerly known as. No.
Pronounce it or something.
No. This one says, what's the difference between an explorer and a captain? Oh, my, quite a bit.
Captain.
Well, there's a lot.
Captain.
What'd you take this one, EMAC?
The explorer is amazing.
So is the captain.
The captain is amazing. So there's really no difference.
So basically they're the same is what we're saying.
Basically the same. The explorer is in this is obviously my personal opinion on how I throw the discs and how they work for me, but for me the explorer is a relatively long flying fairway driver.
Yep.
Straight fairway driver. It has a little bit of fade at the end, or it'll finish a little bit left for me at the end of the flight when it starts to slow down. But man, do I get some amazing, predictable flights out of that disc. Mm-hmm. Like
it's resistant to turn.
I can just throw it on a rope.
Exactly.
Basically is what it is. And very rarely do I get it to just turn to the right. And if it turns to the right, I did that.
Yeah, you forced it.
I did that. That's my fault. And then you got the captain is more of a high speed driver, distance driver with a little bit wider of a rim. It's quite a bit understable for my liking for a disc. That being said, when I go out in the field and throw it, and I'm throwing it at around 80%, that thing is going long ways.
Yep.
Like just for days. I did have one in the bag for a little while, thinking maybe it could be a good roller disc, but the wide rim on it just is a little bit too unpredictable for my liking.
Yeah.
So I took it back out. So basically, the short answer is the Explorer is a fairway driver, and the Captain is a distance driver. So you can actually have both. And I wonder if he meant the Getaway instead of the Captain.
If that's the case, the Getaway is a new fairway driver from Dynamic Discs. It's a little bit faster than the Explorer. The rim is slightly wider, and I think it's noticeably more overstable than an Explorer. At the same time, I love the Getaway because I can throw it really hard, not worry about it tipping up to the right, and honestly, I'm getting it pretty close to as far as a lot of my distance drivers. It stays in the air for a surprising amount of time.
Like Weston Isaacs, I believe it was throwing him off hole 1.
So was Peter.
He was throwing it off hole 1
Peter
at the country club, and his second shot too, and getting to the green, like the golf green.
Right.
So I mean, that's
it smashes for sure.
It's pretty cool.
Yep.
So the weather's getting nice.
Yeah.
More consistently, I should say.
The weather outside is weather.
It's weather. So that means 2018 Trilogy Challenges are about to kick off. When are those actually?
This month.
This month, isn't it?
Yep, it is.
May and number.
May 12th.
That's not right.
May 14th.
It's later in May, I'm pretty
May
sure.
22.
May 22. Let's see. I'm trying to find. Oh, here we go. Start date May 26th.
Hey,
See, that was my next one.
That was your so
May
I was
26th.
almost there.
So if you want to get one started in your area, there's still plenty of time to get that order in and get those out to you at the beginning. Now, I think you can even still do it after, but if you want to get it started, May 26th, we already got a bunch of them happening in Kansas, Indiana, Texas, California, Oregon, North Carolina, Maine, Illinois, Michigan, New York, Utah, West Virginia, Oklahoma, all over the place. 40 states, 10 countries. We have 254 events happening. So get yours scheduled. Get yours on the schedule today. You can go to trilogychallenge.com and find out more information. It's basically a tournament in a box. Turnkey solution.
It's so easy to run.
Yeah.
Like ridiculously easy to run.
Redonkulous. And you can pick out just about any format you want to use. Flex start, shotgun start,
worst shot,
best shot,
worst shot. What a nightmare for a trilogy challenge.
You get three unreleased discs, and it's going to be the Dynamic Discs Patrol, which is a mid range.
Yep, understable mid range.
And the Westside Discs
Maiden,
which is the putter.
Yep, pretty neutral.
And
Butter.
The Latitude 64 Musket.
Do
we know what that's?
Musket.
Kind of like a stable-ish straight fairway driver.
Yeah.
Little turn to it, little fade.
So straight, like relatively straight.
Yeah, pretty straight.
Like not overstable.
Nah.
Not understable.
I think it's pretty easy to throw.
So that comes in the players pack along with some shirts and some other goodies and stuff like that. So if you want to try some new discs, definitely go to trilogychallenge.com/events and see if there's an event in your area. If there's not one, host one yourself.
And if there is one, host one yourself.
Yeah, and if there is one, go ahead and host another one.
Just later on.
Yeah.
Just don't do it like the same day.
Right. Next question is from Justin.
Hey guys, I was recently watching Danny's video about building a bag, and it got me thinking about the topic of disc selection and the two schools of thought, either carrying as few molds as possible and layering your discs within that mold versus carrying many molds to cover a variety of shots. And I was wondering, what discs do you have in your bag that you currently layer heavily? And if you had to build a completely brand new bag, and you were not able to use any of the discs in your bag currently or any of the discs that you have in storage. So sorry, Robert, I know you probably have a closet full of 50 Wardens, but yeah, you can't use any of those discs. If you're building a brand new bag, what are a few discs that would be replaced, and what are the brand new equivalents? Thanks.
All right, so I can't use the Warden at all?
No, you can't use anything that's in your bag.
I'm not interested in this challenge.
Now let's not do entire bags. Let's pick three discs.
If I had to putt with something other than the Warden,
3 discs.
it would be either the Deputy or the Mercy. I know those are pretty different, but they feel mostly similar in the hand. The deputy is a little bit shallower.
I would say the Mercy for you.
Yeah.
Because I think it's going to come out of the hand similar and have similar flight as the Warden.
Yeah, stability for sure.
All right, pick a
for your
mid-range that you would take out and
Mid-range.
replace.
Well, I mean, I have 3 UMAC Truths right now and a Verdict. I would probably switch over to, oh gosh, I hadn't thought about this in so long.
You would take out the Verdict and use a Lucid X EMAC.
I'd be interested in that. That'd be fine. I'm trying to. I've heard the Sling from West Side is pretty good. The production runs have been good. I liked the Trilogy Challenge ones, but I had Truths at the time that were doing the same thing. So maybe I could switch it out with that for a straight one. And then driver-wise, the driver that I don't throw right now that I would. I really liked the Boatman from West Side Discs. I don't know if it's still around as
I'm
much.
on a boat, man.
Yeah. Man is what it says. Yeah. It's just a predictable, stable flight. It's kind of in that hybrid speed, like a 10-ish speed. I think it's a good disc.
You're a good disc.
Thanks, man.
Oh, this is hard. For me, I would probably, putter-wise, if I wouldn't putt with a Mercy, can I just say go back to the judge?
Yeah, I mean, it's not in your bag right now.
True, it's not. So I guess that would probably be my putter. Putters are hard because, I mean, that's like the most important disc in your bag. So
Yeah.
Mids is really hard because of how many EMACs I carry, and that's pretty much the only mid I carry, with the exception of the Justice. I guess I could say, I'm going to take the Justice out and put a Bard in there, because honestly, I could do that.
Yeah, for sure.
The Bard is overstable enough that I could throw a VIP Bard and be okay.
VIP.
And driver-wise, man, I'll tell you what, I threw the crap out of that Enforcer this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just...
Yeah.
So I guess I could take it out and put a Warhorse in my bag.
Warhorses are stable.
'Cause they are beefy.
I finally threw mine the other day.
Yeah, and they are beefy. But, I mean, so's the Enforcer. The one I have, at least.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be my 3.
Nice.
For my
I
putter,
don't want to do it, though.
No, I'd prefer not to.
Yeah.
my putter, of course, is the Deputy, and the Swan, or I'd like to try the Crown. I've heard the Crown is pretty straight putter.
Yeah. It's not as straight, I don't think.
Pretty
but
stable.
I think you could almost go back to the Swan one, whatever, and not miss a beat.
The mid range, let's see, what mid do I find myself throwing a lot? It really goes back and forth between depending on where I'm at on the fairway, or my upshot is the Suspect or the Verdict. I don't even know what equivalent I would throw. I mean, because I do have an EMAC Truth in my bag.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's not an EMAC Truth. It's just pre-Sweden Truth.
It's a Lucid Truth. That was my signature disc at the time.
Yeah.
It's a Pre-Mac.
Pre-Mac Truth.
I don't even have a lot. I don't even know if even in my stash in my closet.
You can't use those.
I can?
He said you can't use anything you have at home.
Oh.
Yeah,
It's basically a new mold. So what would you replace your, say, Suspect with, or your Verdict with? The Verdict would be easy for me, I think, because you can go like Anchor, you could go
I
Sling.
haven't thrown a lot. A Sling would be one. I remember when we did the Trilogy Challenge, whatever year it was, we did the Is This Disc Right For You with the
Yes.
Sling. I remember thinking, I really like that. So yeah, I'd do the Sling. And then for my driver, a lot. No, well.
Yeah, well, I eat up pork.
I guess I'd want to try. I have one Underworld. I tried it for a little bit. It didn't
In
really,
Sweden, right?
Yeah, and
It didn't really click.
No, it didn't really click. So I don't know what I would try from another.
Oh, look at him. Oh, I got a disc in my bag that's not really good and it doesn't click. I'm going to use it and take it out of the bag.
I better go ahead and use it.
A lot of people say maybe the Halo.
Halo would be pretty fast for you.
Halo's
Is it
fast and
fast?
pretty overstable,
No,
probably.
what does Denise throw that she used to?
Havoc.
Havoc.
That's
Yeah,
what
I
I was
think you'd
thinking
like
of.
a Havoc.
I think you'd like a Havoc.
So I
Do you
would
throw
put
a
the Havoc.
Renegade?
I throw Renegade.
Okay.
So
It's
Havoc
like a
would be-
little bit more stable.
Then
Yeah.
okay, so the Havoc. Okay, so the Havoc would be it. All right, let's move on to the next question. Sean.
Hey everyone, my name is Sean. I have a question for whoever happens to be in the studio at the time, whoever I think can best answer it. I know this is kind of vague, so if you don't have an answer, that's perfectly okay. I was just curious, do you guys think that there's any common mistake made by beginners that have like an average distance of say about 250 feet? And I am one such beginner. that like, some common mistake that kind of across the board beginners tend to make? Or is it kind of like everyone tends to make, a different kind of mistake that results in, distance being eaten up? Or if, like I said, if there's a common one that, that tends to do that. And like, by distance, I mean an average distance of like 350 to 400 as opposed to, 2 to 250. So yeah, just curious if you guys, have an answer for me or not. Thank you very much. Keep it real.
I know when I screw up distance shots, usually what I do wrong is throw it into the ground, throw it a little low, mainly on uphill shots when I'm trying to get more and more distance out of it. But what would you say that the common mistake for someone trying to get distance is? Like turn it over too much? Disc selection?
I got
there's
one.
a handful.
I'd say common mistake if they're topping out. He said around the 250-ish, 300 range, right? It's probably that he's getting the disc slightly nose up, and that just kills distance, right? I noticed that the other day. I was throwing. I don't remember what hole it was, and I let my disc go, and I could see the stamp of it flying, and I was like, well. That sucks. Because it just rose and then just faded off slowly. And it was, 70% as far as I usually throw that disc. It was one of my EMAC truths, and it was just a garbage shot. And honestly, I think that's the biggest thing is making sure that the disc is closer to level and even slightly nose down so that it can achieve the full flight. And the way that happens a lot of times is beginners and people who are trying to throw hard reach back and then kind of dip the disc low and then don't quite finish high. They just kind of wing it. And when they do that, it ends up pretty nose high, pretty nose up, and that starts that kills some distance for him.
Danny's giving you the stink eye.
Yeah, I'm saying they dip their arm and that sends the disc nose up. I didn't say start low. I said they dip their arm in the middle of the flight. I didn't say anything about the reach back.
Yeah, he says he brings it back high.
Yeah.
Or low or medium.
I don't know if you guys heard that. Danny was in disbelief of what he heard, and Robert had to clarify.
Danny said, "You idiot."
sounds right.
One of the things that I do when I try to get is the mistakes I make, and I feel it. I don't know if it happens a lot, but is I try to muscle it, and then I end up grip locking it,
Right.
and that makes me so mad. I'm like, why did you do that? And I'm trying to get better at it to say, you don't have to. Now, every now and then I'll grunt. Because I feel like, I'm going to get it out there, but I don't try to muscle it. I still try to have good form so that I don't hold on to the disc for that millisecond too long. Next one comes from Joe.
Hey guys, I have a super critical question that needs to be answered. Me and my coworker have gotten whether you can actually assign stability to an object that's not a disc.
Sorry.
So, for example, if you have a food container that has a kind of a dome disc-shaped lid to it, and if I throw it right side up, it tends to be what I would consider understable, wants to dive to the right. But if you flip it over, so more of the weight is up at the top, upper, outer edge, it tends to be more overstable. But my buddy says that you can't assign stability to an object that's not a disc golf disc because that's where it came from. Now, we are both in the science industry, so I feel that this is a term that can be used to describe flight of other objects. So really, we need an official ruling. Can you assign stability to an object that is disc in shape, but not a disc golf disc? Really appreciate an answer. Hope to hear from you guys. And as always, keep it real.
Yeah.
Have you seen our videos, Will It
I think we have a scientific answer for you, and it can be found within our videos entitled Will It Heiser.
That's the whole point of the Will It Heiser is taking everyday objects that aren't discs, some of them round in shape, some of them not so much, and seeing how they fly, basically seeing the stability of them when put into flight or thrown as if they were a disc off disc.
Right. So what was this gentleman's name?
Joe.
Okay, Joe.
What's up, Joe?
I'm gonna ask you just to do a bit of research and just go to YouTube and type in Will It Heiser, and that's going to be the best scientific research really that you could do on the topic.
And
it's true.
Now that GBO's over and the weather's getting nice, we're gonna have to do. We need
spring editions. It's more like summer editions. This doesn't feel like spring. Like it's already kind of hot outside.
The next one's going to be something with music because my Secret Santa was some stuff that a guy gave me that he said he wanted. The purpose he gave them to me is to put in a Willett Heiser.
Nice. Okay. Cool.
Which is the theme of Bobby Brown, because it was a compact disc, a cassette tape, and an LP. So
nice. I also see maybe this isn't this, but it looks like an old CD like sleeve holder in your office. You know, the ones that held four CDs on a page, and then you flip it through. That would definitely Heiser.
We'd have to see. So maybe it's just going to be music.
Yeah,
music
I'm interested.
The theme. All right, next one comes from Ross. No. Doesn't come from Ross. It comes from Andrew. Have you guys thought or tried to get a disc golf experience at Michigan Stadium, a.k.a. the Big House? The Big House. It is the largest stadium in the United States and one of the largest in the world. I think it would be a great advertisement opportunity for disc golf, not to mention it would attract a lot of college-age kids to participate, further growing a generation of disc golfers. So for anybody who's wondering, we have done disc golf experiences in AT&T Stadium in Texas, Nissan Stadium in Tennessee, and we have one scheduled in a couple months here in Kansas City at Arrowhead Stadium. Now, Chiefs. You can't see my hand. I was doing the chief thing. Battle chop. Anyway, yes, we are actively seeking out different stadiums. Whether how far it goes with talks and stuff like that is obviously all under wraps, because we don't want to say anything until things are solidified.
I'll be honest about it.
Here it comes.
I mean,
Eric's about to keep it real.
A little bit. Tennessee was the exception to this rule. But if you think about where we've run them in the past, they've been somewhat close to familiar territory and home. If you can imagine how big of a staff that it takes to run an event like this, getting that many people to Tennessee was a struggle. It was tough. Yeah. It was not an easy task to accomplish. So when you're talking about Michigan, that's going to be twice as far almost, not quite, but I mean I'm not saying it can't happen or won't happen, but I will say this. What's really cool, I'm excited about doing this year is the links at Petco Park.
Oh my gosh.
That Callaway puts on every year down in San Diego, where the Padres play. And I talked to David Ponce about it, and I want to be there. I'm going to go to that event. I want to go to that event. How it works is they usually set up a 9-hole golf course inside the stadium. They copied us, obviously. We did it first.
Duh.
Even if their event's been running longer.
They definitely copied us.
They definitely copied us on it. But the last hole this year will be a disc golf hole. That is so cool. Like, people need to know that and need to hear that, how cool it is that Callaway is taking a ball golf hole away and putting a disc golf hole in. I mean, think about that for a minute. And this is like an event that has thousands of people that come through it, and not just like, you know, your local golf pro. We're talking like some high up executive individuals. Yeah. So it's a big deal.
I think it's going to be really cool.
It's a big deal. And who doesn't want to be in San Diego in November?
Yeah. I slouched down in my chair.
Oh, is it November?
November.
I didn't realize it was that late in the year.
End of October, early November. Why'd you slouch down?
Because I don't think I'll get to go.
Why
but
not?
I don't know. Just because I super want to go. I just, who knows how many of us will get to go.
Yeah.
But I'll play golf anytime. I love golf.
I just want to post up on the disc golf hole and show them guys how to play disc golf all day.
Dude, yeah. Maybe hustle them.
Yeah. Just show, hey guys,
I'm new here
mind
too.
If I play with you? Maybe you want to throw some money on the
$5
line?
on it?
Yeah.
They're like $5,000? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's
perfect. I'm interested.
I know, I'm joking.
I would imagine that I would be afforded the opportunity to go just because we want to capture it on media. And stuff.
I heard it was me and you. I heard it was me and you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I would imagine that I will be sad.
I heard you going to Europe now, though.
I am going to Europe.
So
let's go.
I mean,
that'll be super cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, I should not be upset.
Next one comes from where are you going?
I'm going to Finland and Sweden with y'all.
I knew you were wanting to go. That's awesome.
I was wanting to go, but like it didn't make sense early on, and then we changed my job role to be team director of Dynamic Disc, Latitude 64 and Westside Discs, and so now that I'm in charge of the oversight of all three teams, it makes a lot more sense for me to go. So I'm going.
And you get to meet a bunch of the new dudes.
Yes.
It's going to be a great trip.
I can't wait. I haven't been to the factory. I haven't been to Finland or Sweden before.
Oh, rookie.
I know.
This guy.
What an idiot.
This guy.
We're going to have to teach him the ropes.
Been.
Yeah, we're going to have to teach him.
Shoestruming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, dude. I already know I'm not eating surströmming.
Oh, come on.
I know. I already talked to David about it. I said, David, look.
You are.
No. I'm sorry. I talked to it's Erica, right? It's
Erica.
Thomas's wife.
Yes.
I said, Erica, I'm so excited to come and visit you guys. I have to tell you, I'm not eating search.
Yep. Nope.
You gotta try it.
I am not.
Yes, you are.
I am not.
Watch.
I'm going to put it on your when
Will
you're
you try it?
asleep. I'm going to put it on your
When I wake
I'm
up,
going to go Robert. So
Will you try blood pudding?
No.
How good was blood pudding?
It was actually good.
It was good. It tasted like Christmas. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know.
It
Christmas
was
are at your house, but
delicious.
No, it was good.
That seems.
You'll do it.
That seems.
You're gonna do it, or
You gotta
or
try
you're
it.
just not coming home.
Yeah. Well, you have to stay here
You're
now.
a European now.
I hope you like either 20 hours of daylight or 4 hours of daylight.
Yes, either one.
Yeah, you got to try it. All right, next one comes from Alec. Hey, guys, love the show. I've been playing seriously for about a year. Would like to try out my area's league, but I'm worried I'm too young. I'm 17 and not skilled enough to make it worth the $12 weekly fee to play. I also don't want to commit to it long term because I'm able to compete during the summer, but will be unable to once school starts back up. What would you guys do? I'd like to start competing, but I'm unsure if the local league is a good option for me in my circumstances.
Go for it.
Go for it.
You go for it.
You go.
If
go
it's
for it.
if it's something that you can afford, if it's in your budget, I would say it's very good because it kind of goes along the lines of what we've said all the time is putting something on the line.
Absolutely. 100%.
In other words, casual rounds are good. Getting out there and throwing is good. But putting something on the line is, even if it's just simply saying, I paid $12 to do this,
Right.
I better do well
That's too much.
to make it worth it.
It's too much.
It's too much.
Too much.
What do you mean?
You still owe me $1, by the way.
I do.
You see, now look, you don't even have to. You just put something on the line. You don't have to pay if you're Robert.
Oh, you're right. $12. Are you saying that
For a bet.
Let it be said and let it be known. I am handing Eric $1 right
dollar.
now.
$1 bill. Too
even
bad it
$1
wasn't live.
But there's something
Dang it.
putting it on the line is just going to give you good experience. I mean, there's nothing can trade experience. You can
Absolutely.
do all the schooling you want, all the learning, all the watching of videos, all the thinking about it. But until you get out there and actually experience it, there's no trading experience. So I say, if it's in your budget, go for it.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
Yep. 100%.
Also, I had a $5 as well. I probably should have just given that to you for past dollars and just in preparation for future dollars.
No, I recommend the $. It's so much fun to play with your buddies.
Or put breakfast on the line. Like
you guys
Yes.
did.
Breakfast on the line is
that was
great.
one of the most fun rounds I've had in a while.
Breakfast on the line is good. Something on the line, but the $dollar is awesome to me because
Wait, what dollar?
okay,
What do you-
$dollar is $1 for the front nine, $1 for the back nine, and $1 overall. So the worst you're going to lose is
So that's
$3.
$3.
$3. Way to go.
Quick math.
But what I like about it is is you can have a horrible front nine, just a horrible front nine, but you could kill it on the back nine and still like not lose all your money.
Yep, that's how I
You know what I mean?
salvaged
So
our
there's
last
still,
round.
yeah, exactly. There's still something on the line, and the worst you're going to lose is three Washingtons
Have you ever tried-
$3.
You ever
or
tried
Sacagaweas.
fitty?
I have not. What's that?
$50 for the front nine,
Oh.
$50 for the back nine,
Wow.
and $600 for the whole thing.
What?
Oh, wait, how
I'm
why is-
interested.
That
Let's
seems like
go
it isn't very aptly
right
named.
now. I'm
Let's go
interested.
right now?
Let's go right
well,
now.
not me and you, that's for sure.
How many strokes? Dude, how many strokes would Eric have to give you?
How many?
25.
Are we playing like all day?
Yeah. I don't know.
What course?
How many did we do last time?
You gave him way too many
Like
strokes.
12 or 17.
No,
When I
it
heard-
was more than 12. It was 50. I think you said 18 and I said 15, and
then
I
I said
think we settled on 16.
Right.
When I came into the video, I came in a little late, so I didn't hear what you guys gave Anthony. But I would
or nine,
recommend
I
that it
think.
was too many because Anthony's a solid player.
I didn't want to give Anthony that many, but
What did you shoot at?
I think no, it was 9 and 18.
Was it west or east?
Are you sure? It was East.
What's your best score? What's your average?
Regardless, it was way too much for
It
you.
was way too many. Yeah. 7 and 16. That's right.
That sounds
That's
right.
what it is.
Yeah.
What's your average
My average score
at east?
at Jones East, probably 56.
No, sandbagger. He's Eric's usually at a 50 at this current layout. He's
current
at
layout?
50 or a little bit lower most of the
yeah,
time.
see, mine was what 69, 70, so about 20 strokes.
Yep.
So how many strokes? You want me to give you 20 strokes?
Yes.
And we're going to play what? 500, 500, 600?
No, 50, 50, 600.
Oh, okay.
No, it's called 50-50-50, but the last one is 600 just because 600.
Awesome.
I see. Colloquialisms.
Right.
Still interested. Let's wait till it gets a little windier, though.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Rip.
And we're playing stroke and distance.
On all the OPs.
And you're blindfolded. All right, next one is from Dylan.
What is up, Disc Golf Answer Man crew? So I got into disc golf because some friends from work played it. They took me out to play, and I got immediately hooked. Bought some starter kits, went online, looked up as much disc golf coverage as I could find. So I was curious, what ultimately led to you getting into disc golf?
Cool.
And if you remember, what is the first disc or set of discs that you purchased?
Awesome question.
Thank you.
I think I've answered it before.
Me too.
I've answered it before, differently though.
So if you'll just go back and find the episode that we answered,
right.
it on, that'd be perfect.
Just search them all. You'll find it.
About episode 350.
right around 350.
Right around 350.
The way that I got into disc golf, I had played a couple of times in high school with some buddies who had gone and won Am World doubles. I later found out in intermediate, but they were calling themselves world champs.
Hey.
And so we left. But I was in college, and there was a guy a couple years younger than me, pretty athletic, competitive guy, and we were good friends. And he said, "Hey, let's go play disc golf." And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I haven't played it that much, but I'm going to smoke you for sure, because trash talk and
Yeah, of course.
competition and things like
Guys
that."
and stuff.
I'm pretty sure he beat me
Dudes.
by 18 or so. I mean, he just flat out smoked me.
You guys played 9 holes?
Hurt my feelings. No, we played 18. It was basically a stroke hole, and I was like, this sport is so dumb, but I will not stop until I beat you. I refuse to be bested at something like this.
And that's why you're still playing?
And I still have not beaten him. So we kept competing, and then I'd get to where, I'd lose by 10, and then I lose by 5, and then I'd start to beat him. And then at that point, I started learning about local mini tournaments.
Nice.
In Abilene, Texas is where this was. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm super awesome. I'll go and win these immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously I didn't. I got smoked. And so by that time I was more hooked. And so I played until I could start competing in those. Then played my first tournament, played like garbage, added my scorecard incorrectly the first round.
Whoops.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a rude awakening. So, but by that point I was hooked.
What was your first disc?
The first disc, I don't think this was my first disc, but it's the one I remember most vividly, was a Champion Valkyrie.
Wow.
And it was to where I could, when I first got it, it was just like a meat hook. But then I got to where I could throw it straight.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, oh, it's on.
That's cool.
Put me 250 away from the basket, and I got this straight disc, and I'll park it.
Nice. I started in high school as well, with just a bunch of buddies. Actually, my because I did gymnastics as a kid, and pretty much off and on through high school, having with just a few group of dudes that he owned the gym here in town, and we would just go and do like just trampoline and tumbling is all we like to do. So that's what we did. And he had this big gym, and he had a basket there, and I was like, wondering what it was, and he took me out. We played. I was hooked. I would skip school and go play.
Don't skip school, kids.
And one day it was a beautiful day, and Jim Ramsey and I, who's a local, he cut my trees the other day actually.
Nice, thanks, Jim.
But he's a local, and me and him skipped school and went and played disc golf, and it was such a beautiful day. There was a photographer out taking pictures, and he took our picture, and come to find out he was from the Emporia Gazette, and he put us on the front page of the paper. And we had to go back the next day.
Sorry.
And I was like, oh, whoops.
Are you suffering? Are you crying?
Whoops, my bad.
I'm sorry. I was laughing because that's the most unfortunate situation you could encounter while skipping school.
It really was. Because when you're that age, you're a kid, yeah, come on, put me in the paper. We're cool. Let's do this. And then you don't think about, oh yeah, I'm probably going to get in trouble for this.
Consequences.
But no, we did that, and Emporia Open was the tournament back then, the tournament that I took over. We played a bunch of those and traveled, and I went to Texas and won my first A tier in '97 as an intermediate player. In that tournament was VPO.
Oh yeah, nice.
So that was cool. My first disc ever was a Globy Stealth from Lightning Discs.
I've never even heard of that disc.
And it is on my wall. I still have that disc.
Nice, that's awesome.
So that disc's proudly displayed on the wall.
That's so cool. I definitely do not have the first disc that I had.
Yeah, I don't have the first disc. I was, of course, you've probably heard my story about how I got my start. Jim Taylor from the Lodge at Taylor Ranch, and Joe Watan from Twisted Flyer wanted me to do some video promo stuff for the Green Country Open, which was a 2009 national tour event. So I did it out there. Sorry, had a guy try to come into the wrong door here at the Dede Studios.
We need to put up that sign again.
I need to put a studio sign up there. Anyway, but Jeremy Taylor, a good friend of mine, was starting to play and was like really getting into it. He had that disc golf bug just like everybody gets, and he was like, "Hey, man, we need to go play it. I want to show you what it's all about."
Shout out.
And so I said, well, he wanted to do it some weekend, and I said, I'm going to do a 5K at the zoo. Why don't you come out and run a 5K real quick, and we'll go play afterwards. Not realizing, I had no clue what disc golf was.
First off,
what?
Run a 5K.
I know.
And then do anything after it.
So I ran a 5K. We ran a 5K, and then he grabbed his disc, and we went out and started throwing it. And I said, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Only because when I throw it, it would go straight up in the air and straight down. And so he was showing me some techniques. Of course, he was fairly new, but he was pretty good. And that's how I got my start. And then my first discs were actually payment for promos. One of them that I do remember was the Champion Groove.
Ooh.
The end of a Champion Groove. And everybody hated on that disc.
You would love that.
I know. I liked it. I remember liking it.
That first Green Country Open, I want to say the
groove was the
they
disc.
did the Echo Star groove.
Yeah, it was kind of the tournament fundraiser.
Right.
Were you playing? You weren't playing it too.
No, I just remember seeing those.
But
I saw a bunch of those.
I was just curious. You didn't
was
play,
there.
right?
I was.
Eric was there. He pulled up in an RV.
I wasn't even playing tournaments in 09.
Yeah.
I started playing in 2008, and then my first tournament was 2010. The winter warm up at Turner Park.
Yeah.
Super cold, muddy.
I was there.
I shot, like I said, added my scorecard incorrectly. Shot my worst rated round lifetime.
Oh, I bet I gave you those strokes then.
Probably so. Worst rated round
So
lifetime, 9-0-0. That was my first round.
Wow.
Nice. No, I pulled up in the original DD RV.
Yes.
The
And
OG.
It was you, Liz, and who else was in there?
Oh, man. Paige, maybe? Would she have been
I
there
don't
then?
think so.
Maybe
I don't
not.
remember a page.
I do remember seeing, though, a bunch of people wearing the Team DD logo, and I didn't know anything about dynamic discs at the time, and looking around and being like, I don't know what that is, but I feel like that's something I want to be a part of.
Nice.
Like, I thought that at the time, having no credentials for it or anything like that.
Fate.
Yeah. And then it worked out.
It worked out. So yeah, that was the Champion Groove.
I still don't have any credentials, but I just
an
got lucky.
AVR, an AVR as a putter, and I remember having a Shark for the mid range, and a Beast.
Shark's
and
a good disc.
Valkyrie. Again, I didn't know anything about anything. They were all given to me.
Of course, that's how your first disc should be. Given to you.
Given to you. There you go.
Mine's like a hand me down.
Hammy. All right, guys. So that's all we got. All the time we have for this episode. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, we've got those Disc Golf Answer Man t-shirts ready out there for you to pick up. They are by far from the greatest shirt ever.
They are by far from the greatest shirt ever.
And
Exactly.
Bobby.
we have the trilogychallenge.com. I also have Corey from Central Coast Disc Golf. He's in here. He did a little bit of drone work for us. He's going to spend a little bit of time with us answering some questions. So make sure that you are subscribed so that you get that episode as well. Until then. Oh, and if you're wondering why there's no video, no live, we kind of took a break. We're kind of still on the GBO hangover, but we're going to have something brand new next week. Some new equipment I'm going to test out. So I'm looking forward to that. So follow us on YouTube, youtube.com/dynamicdiscs. Follow us, because we'll test it out there to see how it works,
Right.
And have some fun with it. So anyway,
And then little known fact, we actually filmed these episodes with the drone, but it's I guess out of commission right now, isn't it, Bobby?
Oh, man.
you just had to bring that up, didn't you?
Let's do it. Let's hear it.
Here's the knife. Here's me just twisting it just a little bit.
Put
I'm
a
sure
little salt
everybody.
in there. Queen.
At least all 2,200
Well, yeah.
people.
When I walking around on block party night and people I don't even know are like, "How's the drone?" I'm like, "How do you?"
You know, when it crashed, I was like, please be Terry Miller's.
Sorry, T-Dog.
Poor Terry Miller. Poor Terror Bear. So I had been flying it all week, perfectly fine. Got down to the block party, had it going for, like I said, I got some really sweet drone footage of the Ring of Fire.
Yeah, that was a cool
I
shot.
was just feeling, I was like, man, this is some good stuff that I can use for the vlog, for later promos. And I had about less than 9 minutes of battery left. And I thought, I've really gotten all I really need, but let me try one more thing. And there's a feature where you tell it to track a subject. And typically I use it to track, like on Eric's when he's painting the lines, I'll tell it to track him and I'll just, hey, go. And it's like on autopilot and just kind of follows him real smooth. Well, I thought, well, I'll do that with the basket in the middle of the Ring of Fire. I'll say track, and then I'll tell it to do about 50% radius or diameter. Anyway, it creates a circle around the object. And so I had it going, and it was going really nice and smooth. And I was looking, I was like, man, this is good stuff. And then in my mind, I thought, am I high enough? So I'm looking up in the air. I don't see any blinking lights. I don't see nothing. I start to panic. I look down at my screen, which is my phone. I'm looking at what it's filming. And all of a sudden I see little branches, and I know it's getting ready to hit a tree. So I look over at the only tree that's there. I see it go bzzzt, like hitting, and I go up. I try to go up really fast. I could see it go up a little bit, then it gets caught. Then, of course, it gets wrapped up in a bunch of branches and goes straight down and hits a lady in the shoulder.
Dang it, man.
People tried to catch it, which if you are ever near a drone and it's falling, do not ever try to catch it because those blades are spinning fast.
Run.
Yeah, so don't ever try to catch it. Anyway, I went up to the lady. I felt horrible. And thankfully I knew who it was. I gave her a big old hug and I apologized. Obviously, she says, it's okay. She showed me, and it was just like an abrasion. It didn't cut or anything like that. So she was fine.
There's a protuberance.
Protuberance, yes. Yeah. And so yes, the little gimbal part of the camera is broken off. So yes, it will need to be repaired.
Do you remember when we went to Chanute, that golf course that I designed, and you were doing some drone footage of it, and you just took straight off into the tree?
It's got saved.
No time to check it out.
That time I saved.
Oh, I think I was recording, and I think one of us said, "Oh."
Yeah. So anyway,
Chanute.
Oh, Chanute. That's exactly what I said.
So good old drone story. That'll be the third time I've wrecked it. And,
hey, here's a thought. Maybe have a few less to drink before you fly that around.
I didn't drink anything.
That's true.
Just think about it.
I didn't drink anything.
Don't drink and drone.
Only you can prevent droners.
Maybe, man, I've been doing so well, got so much good footage. Literally was going to do that last shot and then land it, and I'd be done.
Mm-hmm.
We should go try to throw the discs at the drone like we did in Pan.
I'm super interested.
So break it again?
Yeah, why not? I mean, why not?
The gimbal's already broken. Let's
just duct tape it.
It's not going to fly.
Finish the job, big boy.
Anyway, I got to get it repaired, so we're ready to take it to Finland for sure.
Oh yeah, are you going to fly it outside the plane?
just set it to follow.
That's possible.
Set it to follow.
Track.
Yeah, come on, it'll be great.
Anyway, all right, guys, that's it. We'll see you next week.